Rick Snyder, the awful governor of Michigan, who oversaw the lead poisoning of many, many children in Flint, Michigan, is back in the news for something terrible yet again. So back in September, 7 children filed a lawsuit against the state of Michigan, alleging that decades of disinvestment and purposeful disregard to a quality education has denied them access to literacy. So this is a pretty important issue. I mean, it's kind of interesting that this is coming from kids, too. Kids.
Yeah, it's bad when the kids are observant enough of their situation to know that the education system is inefficient and worthless.
Right. And they're not getting what they need.
They're not getting what they need.
Right.
I mean, and what is literacy? I mean, the ability to read and write, your proficiency at that.
Comprehension.
Or, your competency or your knowledge in a specific area.
Right. It's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's what you need to function in life.
Basically.
To be somewhat successful. It's pretty basic stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's what you need.
Yeah, and I think it's important that the governor of the state know that, too.
Yeah. Now, the response is something that I don't think anybody would expect. So lawyers for the governor, lawyers for the state, they're trying to dismiss the lawsuit. But it was interesting the words that they use in their dismissal papers. So it said, there is no fundamental right to literacy.
That's it?
In the papers, they said that. There is no fundamental right to literacy. Those are pretty interesting words.
Yeah, I think those are, and to me that seems like a tactic to make themselves feel better about not investing in it. Not necessarily not investing, but not, caring about, improving the educational system. It's like if you say it's not a right.
Right.
Oh, it's not a right, so therefore I don't really have to care about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just makes you feel better about not caring about it.
So pretty much they can provide the education for people, for these kids, but not a quality one. I mean, they can provide the building, the teachers, but if it's actually beneficial to you or not, not really interested in that too much.
Again, it's kind of the way they put it without giving a more detailed explanation. Yeah. Whether they were intended on giving a detailed explanation, I don't know. It just would have sounded better maybe if they would have added, like, yes, we'll invest in the school system, or we'll provide adequate funds. Right. But it's up to the faculty, the administrators, teachers, parents, and the students to kind of actualize their potential and utilize what we gave them in order to be successful. Maybe something like that. No, we'll do our part, they'll do our part. But it just seemed very dismissive.
Very dismissive. And again, I want to highlight that this lawsuit is coming from kids. Now, of course, I would believe that their parents are involved as well. Yeah. But think about you telling your son, your daughter, what they put in the dismissal papers.
Yeah, like
there's no fundamental right to literacy.
How as a kid that lives in the state of Michigan, how do you perceive that response? Like, how would you perceive that response? Not just how do you perceive it, like what kind of feeling would they get after receiving a response like that from their governor?
Yeah, the leader of the state.
The leader of the state.
I have no right to literacy, really?
They're pretty much telling me that they don't care about my development as a person.
And if we think about these kids, now most of these kids are going to stay in the state that they're being educated in. They're going to come up in that state, in that economy. So it would probably behoove whoever's involved to educate the kids properly so that they can be a successful part of society, that they can contribute to the economy, make things better in Michigan. That would probably be a good thing.
That education is the fundamental way that people insert themselves into the economy. Right. If you don't have an educated populace, how do you expect the economy to grow?
And we're talking about basic education. We're not talking about higher education, because higher education is not for everybody. We know that because they're trade schools. There's a lot of different careers one can partake in, but basic literacy, I think everybody needs that.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, you know, I guess as a secondary consequence to, you know, people not being educated. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you think is going to happen to, you know, those kids? What do you in the future when they have a little opportunity? What happens? What happens when people don't have any, you know, opportunity in their area?
Poverty,
and then poverty leads to crime.
Right? And
you would think that a governor would be concerned with that.
Well, I think this is a concern for certain kids. Not all.
Oh, okay.
Certain.
I see what you're saying. So, you know, when it comes to fundamental rights, I mean, guns, check. Mm-hmm. Religion, check.
Literacy.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.